Alberta, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about the program, Alberta. What is ISP and this program that you're now managing?
Well, the ISP program is the Intensive In-Home Supervision Program. It is designed to be a house arrest program, but the good feature about it is that it replaces detention center or other facility placements for our youth so that they are allowed to remain with the family in the home until there's some disposition made by family court as to their case and charges.
Right, but who gets qualified for an in-home arrest program? Aren't you afraid they're going to run away?
Well, no, we're not afraid they're going to run away. We hope they don't run away, and we put some things in place for them to not run away. Our youth are actually monitored by individuals. They're monitored by human beings instead of the electronic monitors that are placed often on the ankles and the legs.
Right.
And those monitors actually visit the home, they visit the school as well, and other places where the youth may be. And signatures are, of course, required. It gives us an opportunity, too, to look at the in-home supervision that the youth is getting from the parents.
Right.
Because one purpose for the program is to help empower the parents and make them more responsible in that whole parenting process. In addition to the monitoring that's done with the home is the curfew call. So our youth are required to call in, and they must call in from the home phone number. Okay. It's not their cell phone number, so that they're not down the corner with the phone in their pocket and saying, I'm calling in for curfew now.
Okay.
So there are some things in check. The monitors also go to the schools because school attendance is very, very important, and we all know from statistics what failure in school as well as poor attendance does in terms of leading to delinquency and an ongoing road with the criminal system later on. In terms of who gets selected for the program, that's actually at the discretion of the hearing master who hears the case when the youth is arrested. And the cases are usually heard within 24 hours, and a determination is made as to what youth best fits the program.
So let's, if I can interrupt you, tell me more carefully. So a youth gets arrested, goes to the youth study center.
Yes.
Who stays at the youth study center? Who goes home and and who gets the ankle bracelet? What you know what I mean? Give me some guidelines so parents who are watching this can get a sense of the program.
Most of our youth have one arrest, or if it's more than one arrest, they're not for serious crimes, mainly misdemeanors. We have very few felonies. We have very, very few gun charges, drugs or substances with intent to deliver, and aggravated assault. Most of ours are simple assault. We do have some sexual cases, so to speak, and that's pretty much it. Robbery and just dumb stuff that kids often get themselves into, which is good because they don't belong at the Youth Study Center in many cases. Now, those youth that appear to be runners or have bench warrants from previous cases or have just failed with the monitoring cases and other situations are not generally sent to ISP.
Okay. So would you say the ones with the ankle bracelets are the more egregious young people versus the ones you...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what happens when you go to the homes? The monitor goes to the home. What happens?
The monitors go to the homes, and I'll tell you, Mr. Leacock, it's often a form of comfort to the parents because they feel like they're getting support. Even though we're empowering them, they can feel the support that they get. We have some monitors who serve as counselors, especially to the mothers. We have a mother-baby situation. The youth is actually a mother. And the monitor, the primary monitor that visits that youth or young woman now is good about helping her with maintaining the appointments and, yes, looking at the baby's needs. And people feel good about having the monitors come versus the POs or other people. It seems that everybody in the neighborhood knows when the probation officer is at your house.
Right.
But often the monitors are just viewed as someone coming in to visit and leaving.
Okay. So how often do the monitors go in? I mean, if you're not going to run, am I coming to your home every hour, or am I coming once a day, twice a day? How often?
You're not coming every hour. One goal for ISP is to see that each youth on the program is enrolled in a school or a day program.
Right.
So that takes care of one monitoring visit, because that visit is done at that program. Other youth receive 3 to 4 visits a day, depending on the severity of the charges and how lax things are at home.
Right. So they go to their homes. Keep walking me through it, because I want the audience to really understand.
They go to the home.
Okay.
The monitors are required to get a signature from the youth, and that verifies that that youth is at home.
Okay.
And at home. And at home is not down the street. It's not at the Chinese restaurant. It's not around the corner, and it's not at your aunt's house or your grandmother's house.
Right.
It's at the home where you live, inside the house.
Okay.
As I said before, if there's an adult there, we try to get the adult signature, because that verifies that the youth is under some adult responsibility and supervision while in the home. The monitors work by shifts, and it's not a 24/7, but it's certainly a 7-day-a-week program.
So even Christmas?
The weekends, Christmas, New Year's Day, Easter,
Thanksgiving?
all those things, yes.
So the monitors show up on a Thanksgiving
day?
day?
The monitors show up on Thanksgiving Day.
And eat turkey?
If they're invited to the table.
Okay,
I believe some of them do.
Okay. What kind of staffing do you have to run a 7-day-a-week program?
We have 4 full-time staffers who work 2 4-hour shifts per day, and then we have approximately 8 part-timers that we can call on. There are part-timers and relief staff people.
And then, of course, to round off your staff, you have the social worker.
Exactly.
The court representative.
Yes.
Okay. And the court representative does what?
Now, the court representative does a fantastic job of actually advocating for our families. A court report is submitted prior to each court appearance, and the court representative is privy certainly to that information. There's generally a conference between the court representative and social worker prior to the case, so that the court representative knows exactly what our position is, how we feel about the family, what our perceptions are, and what it is that we want to ask the court for. When those cases and when those youth appear before the bar, the representative is there to again advocate, and he does a really good job. You ought to have him on one day of having sidebars with all the judges to get some things done for our youth and on their behalf. Another thing that the court representative is responsible for is the initial interview and intake. So that when the representative goes back with the family to court, he's aware of who it is, and he just has a natural feeling of how the family is and how that youth is.
And what does a social worker do?
Everything. The social worker...
Including this interview, right?
The social worker prepares the court reports. Prior to that, the social worker meets with the family and has an orientation meeting, just orientating them to the program, what the expectations are, and what we're here to provide for them. Our ultimate goal is to see everyone be able to function in the community where they live. So we're constantly about looking at community services in your community, and resources that are available to you there, so that when there is no ISP and no anything else, no social services in your life, you can walk through, access, and navigate the community where you live and get the services that you need for your family and for your child.
Give us an example of some services of one of your cases. You don't have to give us the name of the
Okay.
case.
Oh, no.
And some referrals on how, you know, how that would work through. So a young person gets arrested for what?
Okay.
And how would you work that through?
Okay, all right. I'll tell you about a brand new one, and
Okay.
we're working to get that done. As a matter of fact, we had a young man arrested, and
How old
his
is he?
charges were drug-related. He's 16 years old.
Okay.
Drug-related charges, and he was using more so than selling. He admitted that he was high on PCP.
Wow.
Put his hand through a window, whole 9 yards. Oh, really bad. He admitted that he keeps a stash in his bedroom. He admitted that to his parent, admitted that to us, admitted it to the court. Prior to getting to court, we actually referred the family successfully to an outpatient program where not only this young man could get the screening and get counseling and some other services, but
Right.
the family receive services. Because often parents, especially parents that are not users and other siblings, need some counseling and comfort just to deal with the situation that's going on.
Wow. So, so do you find the parents willing
Yes.
participants in
most
this whole
cases,
process?
yes. In most cases, yes. If they know that it's confidential and everybody else in the family is not going to find out,
Right.
and all their neighbors are not going to find out,
Right.
they'll accept it and say, we're just going to a program. We're
Okay.
just going to the program. So we were able to do that for that young man and then move him on to an inpatient program.
Oh, so you also can
Oh, yes.
get a referral from
Yes, we do.
inpatient.
Yes, we do. We've
Okay.
referred, as a matter of fact, we've referred as far as Lima, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Let me ask you an interesting question about parents. When a young person gets arrested and comes to ISB, do you find that the parents are usually surprised or they're well aware, for the most part? Because each situation I know is different.
Well, even
but
the
for the most
well-aware,
part.
even the well-aware ones are
Right.
surprised when you're talking to us. They're surprised, and I'll tell you, people often live in a world of denial, not because they want to be conniving, not because they're shrewd, but when it's your child, you always want to believe the best, and you get the same story, especially if the youth was arrested with others. It was the other boys.
Right.
It wasn't my son. But when we interview the others, the parents are saying the same thing. It was that other one. It wasn't my son.
Wow.
And we have to pull information out, but once they are comfortable with us and with the services that we provide, we have a sharing of information that will help the overall situation. And I just want to touch on one thing that I think really helps that. You know, ISP has a monthly parent meeting. And when the parents come to that meeting, they see that I'm not in this alone. It's not just me and my child. There's a room full of people here, and all of us share the same concerns and are here because of the same problem, basically. Our child was arrested. And you'll see some of that defense that parents want to put on go away.
Go away and they start accepting the help more readily.
Exactly.
How often is the parent meeting?
It's once a month. We have it once a month.
Okay.
And that's held on the campus of Temple University, Ritter Hall, Kiva Auditorium.
Okay.
And it's open to more than the parents. We invite the youth whose parents have to work to bring a family member along and a neighbor. Some parents have actually brought neighbors and church members to the meeting. Yes.
Now, earlier you mentioned something about boys. Tell us about that. Is the program mainly boys or is it both boys and girls?
Well, it's co-ed. The program is co-ed and the ages are 13 to 20. However, we have more males because there are probably more things that males get into and can do.
Tell us more about that. Why you think, why you think more boys are getting into things than girls?
I'm just going through my mind now in terms of drug selling. We don't have any females that do that. Females' crimes are generally assault. They may have a gun or a knife or something like that. But the drug selling, the rape belonged to the boys. And that's the reason. That's probably
so the boys are more the perpetrators when you get to those
exactly.
kinds of things versus the girls.
Yes.
Interesting. I want to go back to the home if it's okay. After you work with the various parents in the homes, do you have a profile of what a lot of these challenges look like? Or is it so individual that every home is so very different? Or can parents who are watching us today listen to some of what you're saying and say, yes, this is going on in my home, probably I should be concerned? Or what can you say to parents about their homes?
Well, I say to parents this. I say to parents one thing. Be on top of everything going on in your home. Watch who your children are bringing into the home and kind of monitor their behavior while in the home. Look for behavioral changes. If you're talking about a child who never went out after 7 or 8 o'clock and now they're running out the door every 10 minutes afterwards, something's going on. Or if people are constantly ringing the bell and not coming in, maybe your child is the dealer and they're coming to make a sale with them. In terms of what to look for, we have stereotypes of what home and what type child gets into trouble. I'm here to tell you that's not so.
Wow.
That is not so. We cover every zip code in the city. And most people would be surprised to hear where our heaviest concentration of clients come from.
What part of the city?
Germantown, Mount Airy, and Olney, the 19120 and 41 and 26 zip code area,
okay, so it's not
and
the tradition.
The Northeast.
And the Northeast. Okay, so it's not where we often think.
That's right.
North Philly, Southwest.
That's right.
Okay.
That's where most of the arrests are.
I work until 7, 8 o'clock at night, and my son is home doing his work.
Yes.
How can I tell what he's doing other than, you know what I mean? And then I'm being called that my son is arrested. What would you recommend to parents who have to work an evening shift, or who have to put food on the table and have to do parent, the employee thing, and hear these young people? What do you say to those parents?
One thing that we say to people is this: connect with a neighbor that you can trust to watch your house. Connect with someone in the family that can make a call to your house, like the curfew calls that we do. Set up a curfew call